Hello everyone, thank you for tuning into my first video. Before getting into how to actually research better, and just general advice on that topic, I'd just like to briefly introduce myself. My business, intelligentpersonaltraining.com. I started in order to help guys like myself to make more informed decisions about matters to do with self-improvement. The main topics are building muscle, reversing hair loss, cognitive enhancement, a bit of skincare, mainly hair loss, which is a condition that's, I don't know, it's been notoriously failed at in the medical industry. The reason these are my goals is because when I first started getting into self improvement, I blindly incorporated a lot of misinformation because I didn't really understand interpreting high quality scientific evidence, and I wasn't really able to discern which conclusions were actually based on good evidence. And for that reason, all my content, which you guys will see in the upcoming months and years to come, is going to be presented in an unbiased way and based almost entirely off scientific data, as well as a bit of experience and anecdotes from myself, which I'll obviously preference every time I use these anecdotes. And I basically just want to act as a filter for information, and for that reason I want to help you guys research better so you don't fall into the same pitfalls I did. Alright, the first thing to consider is what platform to research on. I personally recommend using Google Scholar, and there are a couple of reasons for this. Firstly, by signing into Google Scholar, you can save papers to your account, if you have an account, and you can search by relevance whenever you need, and that's going to save you a lot of time because Google Scholar is the most efficient search engine for research, and in my experience, it tends to give the best results, straight away the results you're looking for. Now, how can we use Google Scholar more efficiently? First things first, check the cited by section, as this will show you if future papers have developed their reasoning based on the paper you're reading. And by doing that, it shows you, it suggests you if the researchers in this field found the paper to have at least reliable enough evidence to provide a foundation for their future line of inquiry. Okay, so a problem with Google Scholar is that a lot of the papers will only show you an abstract, and to see the full version, you're going to have to pay some money. But there are some websites like scihub.se, which will provide you full versions of papers if you insert citations. I mean, whether or not you choose to use this website is up to your discretion, but I'm just making you aware of it to be comprehensive. Now, a bit of a problem in conducting research is some people may not have a basic understanding of the topic they're researching, and the information you'll read in the papers might seem very confusing. So how can we address this? I suggest using Wikipedia, but obviously in an intelligent manner. So Wikipedia is a really useful starting point for research because it includes hyperlinks that allow you to explore a huge breadth of information. As you all know, though, Wikipedia is not rigorously developed, and it can prevent conflicting information. So, I mean, don't rely solely on Wikipedia. In fact, focusing on academic papers should be your only source of information you rely on for topics of very high importance. But if it's a topic you plan to skim at a surface level, I don't see a problem with Wikipedia. As I said before, it will help you gain a breadth of information, and you can find many potential lines of inquiry which you can then go and explore. which was very, very helpful for me when I was getting into self-improvement. Exposing yourself to academic papers is particularly beneficial for those who struggle articulating themselves, because especially on the topic that they're researching, because it'll expose you to a higher level of sophistication and precision of language. So, like, the certain terms used by the researchers will, how do I explain this? They'll be the most accurate and the most reliable, and you'll be able to articulate yourself better when trying to explain this to someone, or just having general discourse about whatever topic you're researching. Before I get into the weeds of actually analyzing your paper in question, it's important to talk about the quality of source. What I mean by that is, how reliable are the people who conducted and are reporting on the research. My number one tip is, ask yourself, who stands to gain from this? If the information being reported is secondhand by like a private company, there is the potential for like a conflict of interest, and it's actually quite common that these companies, when trying to sell you something, will misinterpret information from a paper to help encourage sales or prop up their product, basically. Check at the end of the paper you're reading to see if there's any disclosure of a conflict of interest from the researchers, and most sources should provide the source of their funds. My second tip is to look at the actual journal. The reputation of the journal is really important, and since the reputation is determined by the experts in the field, the consensus of all the different experts is the best source of accurate information. So if a journal is considered unreliable, then be cautious when reading information from them. Okay, but how can I determine the reputation of the journal? Well, there are a few journal ranking systems online. Just search up journal ranking on Google and click on a few of these websites, and then search on these websites for whatever journal of interest and see how they rank among all these websites, and it'll give you a rough idea how reliable the journal is. Okay, let's talk about actually analyzing the paper. First things first, be aware of the scientific hierarchy of evidence. This is really important. So the photo up on the screen now should show you, this hierarchy of scientific evidence with meta-analyses and also systemic reviews. But if I had to pick one, meta-analyses would be on the high, would be on the peak. Randomized controlled trials, cohort studies, case control studies, which honestly, that's, a bit lower. Case control studies, cross-sectional studies, and then at the very bottom, animal trials, in vitro, case reports. Case reports, very important to know that right at the bottom. If you're having trouble understanding the academic paper, search for review papers. Systemic reviews are very high quality scientific evidence. And search for systemic reviews on whatever the academic paper is on, and it should provide you like a digestible overview of the subject, and that'll help you when you go back to the paper of interest. Another big tip is actually understanding things like uncertainty, error bars, and statistical significance. Statistical significance is important for researchers making a conclusion based on data they collected. So if the results don't reach statistical significance, whatever differences in data they collected between two groups is likely due to random fluctuations and variables. The uncertainty at which information is collected is shown by a symbol called plus minus. If the equipment used to measure data isn't 100% accurate, which, by the way, no equipment is. Most are, 95, 96, 99% accurate, but there's always an element of uncertainty. Obviously, the less uncertainty, the better. An example I like to give is, say there's like a study measuring the force output of like maybe a punch from two different groups, say for example a young boy and a young girl. The machine that measures the punch, for example, has an uncertainty of plus or minus 1 Newton. Say the boy punches with a force of 100 newtons, and then with the uncertainty of plus or minus 1 Newton, and the girl punches with 98 newtons, with an uncertainty again of plus or minus 1 Newton. It's possible that both produced a force output of 99 newtons, but the calibrations of the machine affected the results. So it's important to factor in uncertainty whenever you're interpreting results. Okay, so uncertainty is represented as error bars in graphic form. So from the image you can see on the screen, if you didn't look at the error bars, you could see that one group of whatever the dependent variable is, one group has a higher data than the other one, and you might draw a conclusion from that. But if you factor in uncertainty in the error bars, you can see that it's possible that due to like differences in measurement or variables, it could have just been a random fluctuation and it didn't achieve statistical significance. So you can't really draw a conclusion from that. So yeah, just keep those things in mind when you're actually analyzing a paper. This will probably help you a lot in drawing accurate conclusions, conducting your own research, and it will help you out a lot. Anyways, thank you for tuning into the video. I hope it was alright, and I'll see you soon.